Welcome viewers, this is WEFC News. I'm Nathaniel Breezen. Today we have some very intriguing storylines that we're going to be following, including a seal gets scared, a lemur gets scared, a giraffe gets scared, and a lamb gets angry. But first, we have some breaking news. Reports are coming out that there is a new type of mirror. Let's go down to the ground floor with our mediocre news reporter, Bob McBobby. This is a mirror. Okay. Let's go over to our WEFC News smart guy, Nathaniel Breezen, and perhaps he can shed some light on some of the actual details of this story. Thanks, Nathaniel. Mirrors have been around for hundreds of years. According to my research, in 1835, German chemist Justus von Liebig developed a process for applying a thin layer of metallic silver to one side of a pane of clear glass. Wow, that's quite the tidbit of information. And that's not all. Mirrors pretty much have one purpose: to reflect. They can reflect light, colors, and images. Because of their simple design, though, mirrors have not changed a whole lot since they were invented. Thank you, Nathaniel. So if mirrors haven't changed all that much, how is there suddenly a new type? We're going to have to go back to our reporter, Bob McBobby. And Bob, can you please explain a little bit more for us, some of the details of the story? Right. Thanks, Nathaniel. Sorry about that. Can you imagine what it was like before they invented mirrors? Like, the only reflection they would have had to look at was probably by, looking at a lake or a pond or something. And even then, that's not always an accurate reflection. What if there are waves? It gets all wavy and distorted and the water is not perfectly clear, and so your skin gets either green or blue depending on the color of the water. And I think Bob went off topic again. Let's go on back to our WEFC News smart guy, Nathaniel Breezen, for another interesting fact about mirrors. The best mirrors are perfectly flat, and that gives them the perfect reflecting surface. If your mirror is curved or wavy, it can distort the things that are being reflected. Very cool. But there's more. If you've ever been to a circus or a carnival, often they will have these mirrors that make your face or your body look all funny. They do this through using wavy mirrors. Is this the type of mirror that you're trying to tell us about, Bob? No, although I do love those mirrors. Anyway, I've been doing some reading in my Bible, and I came to realize that I am a mirror. We're all mirrors. You're gonna have to explain yourself a little more, Bob. Nathaniel? I can confirm that a human skin is not reflective. Therefore, a human cannot be a mirror. Well, not literally. I mean figuratively. It's like I'm a mirror. Let me explain. You know the verse in Genesis where it says that we are created in God's image? Yes, Genesis 1 verse 27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them." Yeah, that one. You see, Adam and Eve were created in the image of God. They reflected who God is. They were mirrors of him. But then they sinned. How does that work, Bob? That's right, they did sin. And the Bible tells us that because of their sin, each and every person after them has a sin nature. And so we all sin too. There's actually a verse about that in Romans 5, verse 12. It says, when Adam sinned, sin entered the world. Adam's sin brought death, so death spread to everyone, for everyone sinned. Because of our sin, we can't reflect God's image anymore because God is holy and perfect without sin. So you mean to tell me we're not mirrors after all? Well, no. Not on our own anyway, but with the help of Jesus, we can. See, when Jesus came to earth, he lived a perfect life and he didn't sin. And then when he died and rose again, he gave us the opportunity to accept God's grace in our lives. And then we can become reflections of God again, even though we still sin sometimes. You're right, Bob. In fact, just a little later in Romans 5, verses 16 and 17, it says this: "And the result of God's gracious gift is very different from the result of that one man's sin. For Adam's sin led to condemnation, but God's free gift leads us to being made right with God, even though we are guilty of many sins. For the sin of this one man, Adam, caused death to rule over many. But even greater is God's wonderful grace and his gift of righteousness. For all who receive it will live in triumph over sin and death through this one man, Jesus Christ." Wow, so we were mirrors, then we weren't, and now we can be again. Yeah, see, this is important because if you reflect Jesus with your actions and with what you say, people will see what it's like to become a Christian, and they may want to become Christians too. Some people, they may not like what they see. There are a lot of Christians around the world who are not liked because they reflect Jesus and not themselves or the world, so they look different. When you follow Jesus as your role model, he will reflect himself through you. He can make you the perfect mirror so that people will see what he is like. He is kind and thoughtful. He doesn't do bad things, and he loves all people. Can you be like that? I know it's hard sometimes, but just like a mirror has to be in front of the object it's reflecting, you have to stand in front of Jesus to reflect his image. So next time you look at yourself in a mirror, think about how you can reflect Jesus' face today. Now that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for some excellent reporting, Bob McBobby and Nathaniel Driesen. And on behalf of the entire WEFC News team, thank you so much for watching. I'm Nathaniel Driesen. Have a great day.